All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have a very exciting guest, a grid athlete and co-owner of the South Beach Palms, Bryleigh Hansen. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you for doing this, by the way. I'm like really interested about when Hannah Hardy told me about you. I was like, okay, I got to get her on. I got to get you on.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Well,
That's awesome.
So I want to get into like obviously the grid stuff and like how to be a co-owner and stuff like that. But before we do that, I kind of want to learn about like your upbringing. Like what did you do for sports when you were younger till you got to like you are now?
Right. So I was a gymnast growing up, like very high level gymnast for 15 years, since I was 4 till I graduated high school. I actually went to college for gymnastics, didn't do so hot, kind of failed out of that. So after gymnastics, it's crazy because you go from like working out to 4 to 6 hours a day, and then when like it kind of like when you get cut off, it's like what do you do? So I didn't actually do much for like 6 or 7 months. I kind of played that college life for a little bit, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like every day of my life, like I had some sort of physical activity, and it just got to the point where I was like, it was just a drag for myself to not do anything. And someone introduced me to CrossFit, and I did my very first CrossFit workout. It was just like a small little, this was back in 2012. It was like a front squat. We did it in a park. It was like a front squat, sprint, lunge workout. And I puked after like 8 minutes. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, let's keep going.
Very cool.
So I ended up going to, this is back in the day. So, a lot of people can say they went to regionals, but like back in the day, I went to regionals in 2013 and 2014 on a team. And I've just done CrossFit since then. And I've been with the Florida Grid League since they started season 1. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you, after you threw up, made you kind of want to stick with doing CrossFit? Like, was there like thinking like I can get better at this, or what was your thoughts going through the whole process?
Yeah, so I think just the challenge in itself, like as a high level gymnast, like learning a new skill is like very frustrating, and it takes like a lot of time. But you have like once you start it, or like once you have like that vision, like I'm gonna get that, you're gonna do it. And it's like you just like it sucks at first, and so that's kind of how I felt after that first workout. I was like, this sucks, but like I'm gonna get better at it. Like this is now what I want to get better at, So just a gymnast mentality of like not being able to do something well and like working to get to it to like be good at it. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So obviously being a gymnast, how was the transition from being a gymnast to getting into like CrossFit gymnastics?
That is where especially high level gymnasts have like a very like good advantage. So because obviously like I got to muscle up on my first try, like learning how to do butterfly chest to bar, butterfly, anything, like that stuff all came easy, whereas like that's usually the hardest. That's what most people like work for like 10 years and they are barely getting like butterfly pull-ups, so it's like just having like the body awareness to be able to do that stuff in the first place, like first try, has a huge advantage. So anything gymnastics, I'm like awesome at. It was like the weightlifting. So I'd never like lifted a barbell much, like every now and again we would do like some bench. We would like go into like a Globo gym and do like some bench press, but it was like cleaning and snatching where it was like super hard for me to be like, whoa, like this is crazy. So that took me the longest to figure out, but I think I'm there.
Yeah. So were a lot of people like pissed off at you that you were getting all these gymnastic like feats done first before they did? Can you just started?
No, I don't think so. Most of the time it was like people asking me to help them because like CrossFit, that was 2012, CrossFit was like just barely kind of starting. So it was more like, whoa, like you could do that, like help me, now I think it's at the point where it's super competitive. And if you can get something before somebody, they've been working on it for a couple of years, that's when they start getting pissed. But it wasn't, the competitiveness nature of it wasn't as high back then. It was still kind of like helping more so than competing against this person next to you.
Yeah. So you said you went to regionals. So what was the change of like from you being like a beginner CrossFitter to being like, hey, I could actually, do something with this?
What do you mean? Well, so for regionals, like I said, when I went to regionals, like regional level athletes now are a lot different than they were back in 2012. Like the regionals I was going to, like the very first regionals, like girls were doing their first muscle up like at regionals, you know. So it's like it was very different. But just like seeing the other teams that had been there and like the girls that were getting their first muscle ups and I already had them like with ease, you know, it was just something that was like, this is cool. Like watching the individuals, it was like, I feel like I could be at that level. If I like really like push for this, like I think I could get there because I'm already like a lot higher than a majority of these athletes that are here. So yeah.
Very cool. And so how did you get connected with the team? Was it like from your box or was it like from like people from like other gyms in the town at all? Or like how did you guys connect?
Yeah, it was all from the same box.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So when did you get involved with Grid?
The very first season. That was very random. It was like a friend of a friend's who had like met the commissioner to start like this grid thing called Grid 6. And he was like, hey, you want to play this thing? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. Like, like nobody could really explain it back then, but it was like, it started as like a smaller, like Grid 6 where there was only 3 guys and 3 girls on a team, before they got to like the full blown teams they are now. So it was just a friend of a friend that said, hey, you want to play with us? And I said, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So
Yeah.
what were the practices like for obviously for the Grid? Obviously their movements are a lot different. And like, how are you able to train to, you know, do those type of movements that they're asking for?
So that's also funny. My very first grid match, it was a Grid 6. There was a triple touch in it. It was burpee triple touch. And prior to that, I had ripped my hands so bad on muscle ups that I had never even tried a triple touch. And the coach was like, hey, like you need to go, like we're about to go, like you need to practice. Do you even know how to do a triple touch? And I was like, no, like I have no clue. And he goes, you want to go try? And I was like, nope, like my hands are shredded right now. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it out there. And like sure enough, I literally got my very first triple touch on my very first try. And I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I've actually tried doing some of those movements, and I'm like, and granted, I'm like 6'6", so that's kind of a disadvantage anyway. But it's just like, how are you guys like constantly do those movements all the time, especially with like the toes to bar to like chest to bar, and like even like the triple that you talked about. It's just like, how the heck can you guys like cycle those at like all at once?
Those are a lot of work, and that's like the thing like coming in handy as a gymnast. Like my body awareness is like very good, so like being able to do a triple touch on the first try, I don't think anybody in the league can say they've been able to do that on the first try. So it is a lot of work. It's frustrating. They're frustrating too, like especially like double touches and triple touches. It's like double unders. You know, it takes forever to get a double under, and it's like it's just one of those frustrating things. But practice, just like anything else. If you want to do it, you'll get it. You'll figure it out.
Very cool. And so when I talked to Hannah, they said that like, oh, she said that with like when you do the grid stuff, you're like have a specialty. So what is your specialty for your team?
So I'm what they call a utility player. So I do everything. So what there's body weight specialists who are like the little gymnasts, little guys and girls that just basically do body weight stuff like pull-ups, muscle ups, rope climbs, handstand push-ups, handstand walks. And then you got like your strength specialists, everyone's who's moving the barbell. Like that's where you get like the big beefy dudes who are snatching 225 for multiple reps. And then you have utility players, and that's someone who kind of does everything. Okay. So I do everything. I do all the barbell work, all the gymnastics work, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So would you rather stick with the gymnastics or like do more barbell work?
For me specifically, it varies per team. For my team specifically, I have a lot stronger girls on my team.
Yep.
So I'll do a lot more gymnastic stuff than I will barbell stuff, but I'm still able to do the barbell stuff. So like depending on what the move is or what the skill or the movement is for the race, you'll definitely see me on a barbell, especially if it's like cycling, like hang snatches or hang cleans. I'm like really good at cycling a barbell, but like as far as like the ladder goes and like clearing a ladder, like I have a lot stronger girls who are better just at like solid lifting than me. So I'll like put them ahead of me in like that kind of stuff and like kind of focus. It's very strategic. It really depends on the match format. Like some match formats are more body weight like emphasized and some are more strength. So it really just depends on the match, honestly.
Okay, very cool. And with the matches, like who sets up like the programming for you guys? Is it
The league does.
oh, the league? Okay.
Yeah. 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 The league sends it out. The whole program season ahead of time before the season. So, every match, it's all laid out for the entire season.
Okay.
So then the coaches and owners are the ones that strategize their team and their players. And then, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, you became an athlete with grit, and then all of a sudden you became a coach. What made you get involved in coaching?
So I wasn't going to. So I was very committed to my very first FGL team. I was like Tampa Bay Brigade through and through. There was no convincing me otherwise. Like I wasn't going to go to another team. I didn't care to play for another team. We were crushed it. We never lost a match. And then I moved down south, and there was an extra team opening, and one of the guys that goes to my gym bought the team, and he was like, please, like, we'll let you be the assistant coach. Like, you've been doing grid for longer. Like, we would love to have you like be the captain, assistant coach, and like help us like strategize. He's like brand new to the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I like straight up told him no a few times. I was like, I can't leave the brigade.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. He finally convinced me. And then COVID hit, and that the season was completely canceled, and he and the other owner actually dropped out. And I was like, oh, well, now what do I do? So long story short, I basically was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just buy the team. So I got one of my other players to like buy in with me. So now we own it. So now I'm coach, owner, manager, like all of everything.
Very cool. Very cool. So
athlete, yeah.
How does like, are there any new teams coming around, or like just have like some random, like, like say, like, I don't know if Orlando has a team, but like, let's just say if someone from Orlando's like, hey, I want to start get my own grid team. Like what's the process of going from like, thinking about it to actually being an owner?
Yeah. It's a long process. Honestly, I'm not sure if the FGL will add any other teams. We have 8 teams. There's 4 in the north and 4 in the south. Mm-hmm. But there is actually, they're at the very beginning level, like where the FGL started, but there are other actual leagues. There's the East Grid League, and then the Atlantic Grid League. So there's 2 other leagues that have started out, and they start out at the base where, like at the beginning, I was talking about grid 6s, just to get like the community involved and like get them to learn about the sport. And grid 6 anybody can do. So they have like double, single, and AAA teams. So it's just like your scaled RX, blah, blah, blah. So anybody and everybody can compete in these. Just to get the community knowing about the sport and like what it is. And then it starts building up into people buying teams and becoming like a semi-pro is kind of where we're at right now with the FGL. But it's happening. It's definitely happening. And there's numerous people that reach out and are like, how do we own a team? How do we start the league? How do we Texas is like really big. Texas is trying to get a league too. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So would they have like Texas teams and Florida teams like play each other, or what? Like
that's the goal.
Okay.
That's the very end goal. So like eventually, like hopefully we would have like numerous. Have you ever? There was a pro league.
Yeah. I remember.
The NPGL. Yeah. So obviously that went down. So what had happened is the commissioner of the FGL was actually the owner of the Miami Surge.
Oh, okay. Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So, and obviously like everybody loves the sport. Everybody that like watches the sport is like obsessed with it. So It's not the sport itself. It's just like building the business model to make that actual sport work. Like you got to grow it from the ground up, right? You can't just pour money, multi-millions of dollars into a sport that nobody has no idea about. Yeah. So he's growing it from the ground up, and that is like the end goal, is to get it to that pro league again, where the athletes are getting paid, and multiple different states have these leagues, and then at the end it would be like a huge championship. So that's the end goal. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you think the original grid league was like way too big, like too quick?
Yeah, I mean, that would be something you'd probably have to talk to the commissioner about. I don't know like a ton about it. I know like a decent amount about it, but I think it was just like, for example, like the very first match was at the Madison Square. They rented out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I watched
it. And there's like 4 people in there because nobody knows what grid is. Like, how are you going to go rent out Madison Square Garden for a sport that nobody has no idea what it is?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think they just poured like way too much money into it, way too quick, because it's not the sport. I mean, you have Brooke Wells that played, Noah Olson, you had Matt Frazier, you have Annie Thorstadter. All of these high level games athletes played, and they love the sport. You know, it's not the sport. So yeah, just we got to slowly start building it back up.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the videos that I do see, especially on like Instagram or like anything else, it's always like the Florida Grid League, and you guys just go ham like right off the bat, like just sprint to the spot where you're doing, do the movement, and then sprint back. So, how as a coach and an owner, how do you like talk to your guys when they're working out, being like, okay, hey, you know, get out, you know, next guy in? Like, how does that whole process go?
We play it out. We've gotten to know, and most obviously you get to know your athletes really well.
Yeah.
You know who needs to go in, like it's because you know the match formats ahead of time. You pretty much like know who's going to go where and when. And if you don't, like a lot of people, like you'll ask people to like send videos just to see who's faster at certain things. And that's the thing that's different about grid and CrossFit is it's a completely different stimulus. Like you'll get like all these great CrossFitters who like think they're going to be great at grid, and it's different. Like it's a different animal. Like you give your 100% when you're on the grid, you're 100%, like you're at 100% capacity. You know, like whereas CrossFit, you're like going maybe 65 to 75. You know, you're not exerting all of your energy, so it's different bursts that like regular CrossFit people are like, oh, I could do that like easily. And then you get like a really good CrossFitter to do grid, and they're like, oh my God, that was so hard. And you've only been out there for 20 seconds. Like, you know, it's totally different. It's so much fun, but you get to know your athletes well enough ahead of time that you know where to place them.
Okay, very cool. So with your team, do you do like, obviously, like let's just say if an athlete's moving to like a different area of Florida, do you kind of do like a trade, or do you just like let them go off to like the net other team and kind of, you know, find another position, another person to fill the spot? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so you get, I think we don't have a full roster. There's only a couple teams that have an actual full roster, and I think a full roster, it's either 8 guys and 8 girls or 9 guys and 9 girls. One of the two. It's either 16 or 18 people. I can't remember. But no. So actually half of my team lives up north, like 8 hours away. I have someone that lives in Louisiana. I have someone that lives in New Jersey. And the Jacksonville team, actually like 90% of their athletes live in Texas. So yeah, they fly in for all of these matches. So it doesn't matter where you live. I think there's only the Miami team's really the only team that all of their athletes are local. Everyone else has people that are out of state.
Wow. Okay. And then like
yeah,
you do, obviously there's like eight matches. So how long of a span does that last?
the match itself.
No, I'm just saying like, you know, the season pretty much, sorry.
Oh, the season. It varies. Like they're switching it up. It's kind of changed every year. Because we try to work around CrossFit, because a lot of the athletes are CrossFit athletes.
Yeah.
So we got to work around, you know, Wadapalooza and the games. Like we have a bunch of like people that are playing for the teams that are like gone to the games, you know. So like, we got to work around CrossFit a lot. So the season's kind of moved and shifted every year a little bit, but generally they're like 2 to 3 months.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So where do you see your team like for the future?
Winning everything. No.
Yeah.
We are 4-0 right now.
Nice.
Hoping to keep that streak. Honestly, I think, and it's crazy because I've had almost every single team, like team owner and head coach, come up to me and be like, how do you have like such a cohesive team? Like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I Instagram stalked and I asked people to be on my team. That's all I did. But no, my team is like very cohesive. So, and like, that's like one thing with grid is like, if you don't have good communication with every single one of your athletes, and if all of the athletes don't get along, like it doesn't go well. Like you can't have one athlete bickering at another athlete, because then it just relates to everything going down the grid. So as far as like where I see my team going, honestly, I think we have the best cohesiveness in the league. So I think that's going to get us extremely far.
Very cool. Yeah. So how do you handle like difficult situations with like little like arguments or something like that with teammates? You just kind of say like, hey, not now, wait till later, or like how do you involve like that whole team dynamic that you have?
I'm always honest and upfront with my whole team. Like there's never behind each other's back, and I have never had an issue. None of my athletes have ever argued. So there's literally been zero issues. And that's what's crazy is like on the brigade, there was never like bickering or issues. It was just the cohesiveness wasn't ever there. Like there was definitely like cliques, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the sucky part. And so it's like, I didn't realize that until I got a new team, that team was like that, you know? And it's a whole new team now. I don't know. It was just like, so I'm not like saying anything. I don't mean it like that.
No. It was like, no, I understand.
But,
It was like, it was at the time that you were like, when you were there.
Right. Yeah. There was never any arguing. It was just like, we know, like it was just clicky. And my group, like all, like for how many different personalities we have on my team, there's never been anybody that's ever questioned anybody or that's gotten in an argument or anything. Like we were in a huge group chat and everyone, like, you send like a workout video, everyone's like cheering you on and like, yeah, like you got this. And I've never had to deal with any argument issues. I hope I don't ever have to.
Knock on wood. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really impressive to have that. Because obviously, like even professional teams, they have like beefs with like teammates, and you really don't see like a team that actually is that like molds together like super well. There's always like at least like a couple outliers, but that's amazing that like your whole team is, very, all about the team, very helpful with each other and like no bickering, which is amazing. So
yeah,
kudos to people, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Very cool. So do you guys have like team meetings for like all the like the owners of the of the Florida Grid League to like meet like once a year to kind of gauge on like what the next year plan is and like how to grow the the Grid League?
Yeah, no, actually we have a call every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
There's a whole team owner call every 2 weeks to talk about anything and everything. Yeah.
That works. That's very cool.
Yeah, we're all the team owners love each other. It's honestly like a whole, like, it all comes down to like the team owners and like what the team owners think like is best. Like that's what's going to help it grow,
Yeah, I agree. I like the 2 week thing. So typically like once a year, and it's just like, is that really worth it? So
nope, every 2 weeks. Awesome.
So where do you typically have like the match? Obviously I know it's in a box, but like do you have like certain gyms that you actually like use a space on like the weekends or whenever the matches are?
Yeah, so actually up north we have them at a place called Valor Fitness. They're they're an equipment company, and they're our main sponsor. They're actually the main sponsor for the FGL.
Okay, cool.
So all of the North matches are held at Valor, which is a huge warehouse. So it's not even a gym. It's basically just like an empty warehouse for the FGL. The owner of Valor just like is obsessed with grid. So he has flags up of all the teams and everything. It's super cool. But down here in the South, because we don't have a venue like that, we just use a gym.
Okay.
Yeah, we just rent out a gym.
How big do you typically have to have the gym? Like, a couple thousand square feet, or like what, like or like 20,000 square feet? How big is the gym that you need for all the stuff you do?
I think it needs to. I want to say the minimum we need is 7,000 square feet. Okay.
Yeah, that's a big size.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
cool.
The grid's massive. It's massive.
Yeah. So when I was researching you actually have a blog called Don't Be a Bitch. So
I do.
First of all, I love that title. So
Thank you.
What made you get into like the blog space, and why did you name it Don't Be a Bitch?
So originally I'm like an avid traveler. Like I love traveling. I wanted to start a travel blog. And I'm a decent writer. Like I love to write, and I just never published it. Like I would never publish it. Like I don't know why I'm like that person that will just write for days, but then I don't share it with anyone. So it's like, to me it's fine, but my boyfriend, like I've shown my boyfriend a couple of things, like you really should like you need to like post, and I'm like, I don't know about that. And it ended up like he's like, I think you could like really like inspire people if you start writing and like getting your like stuff out there. And so I still don't have very many posts on my blog because I have like a million like sitting in my Google Docs, and I'm like, I don't know if I should like edit them or finish them or like, I don't know. So it started as me wanting to do a travel blog, and then my boyfriend's like, you're really good, like you should do it. And I'm like, I know, just one of those things that I never followed through with. And so he helped me follow through with it. And Don't Be a Bitch kind of came from that too. It's like you got to just kind of do it. Like if you're gonna do, like, don't be a bitch and just do something. Like you got to do it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of started from him, and the name kind of all came from him and everything too. I was like, that's actually like genius. That's perfect, because then I can still like integrate so many different things in with that it doesn't have to be like travel specific. So it's like it can be more general and broad about like numerous life things. It can be about fitness, it can be about travel, it can be like a bunch of stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. So I did see you actually give challenges to people, you know, and it looks like it's been very effective for the challenges that you actually post on there. So how do you think of the challenges? How do you like get people involved with the challenges, and you know what, you know, how successful has the challenges been?
They were really good. I was doing really good, and that was like one of those things where like if you're not consistent with it, it starts dropping.
Yeah.
You know, so I did so good at first. It's like the very first challenge, and I think everybody should do this challenge. And I don't know where or how or why I got it. It just came to me, but it was, don't use your phone or don't look at your phone for the first hour of the day. And that was like the most successful like challenge I've ever done. And everyone did it. Like the first day they were like, holy shit, that was really hard. I'm like, yeah, like isn't that like the most ridiculous thing that people like the first thing they gravitate to in the mornings is their phone?
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter if it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's checking email, checking text, checking social media. It's like you just gravitate towards it. So it's like the first hour you're like, oh, like I can't not look at my phone. So that was the most successful one. But yeah, they've just been a bunch of random ones, stuff like that. And then I started getting into like the fitness challenge. I did like it was called like the first 50 of forever. It was like the first 50 days of the new year.
Yep.
So obviously I'll do like those fitness challenges, but I think it's more of like the mental stuff that helps people more than the fitness. You can reach out to a million different fitness influencers on social media and get some sort of inspiration, but it's like you need something beyond the fitness to like help, you know.
Yeah, just like when everyone was in quarantine, all the fitness influencers are doing like body weight workouts, and I'm guilty of that, so I have to admit. So I mean, because I was like, all right, well, I know I do have some very small platform, but maybe someone might do the workout.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I do like the mental side of the whole thing, because obviously, you know, people see people doing workouts and they're like, I can't do that. They don't have they don't think they can manage it. And so having a mental challenge, or even like, hey, do like walk up the stairs like 5 times or something like that. Just, you know, something like that. Or even like with the cell phone, you know, I think that's a huge benefit compared to, you know, just showing videos to somebody.
Right.
And so do you kind of like put a pause on the posting of those at all? Or are you just still kind of like slowly doing it once in a while?
It's at a pause, but it's starting again. The start button has been pushed. There's things being added to it. So hopefully, I don't coach at like a physical gym anymore. So like now that was like the main thing is like time. I always use the time excuse, you know, like I don't have time. And so now it's like, okay, I don't work at the gym anymore. Like instead of being there, I don't need to replace it. Like I am replacing it with my don't be a bitch stuff. Like, so the start button's pushed. We're going. It was paused for the time excuse. And I hate that I ever use that excuse, because it could have been so much further ahead by now, but it's moving.
So are you looking to do like a weekly post or like bi-weekly? What's kind of like the new idea of the whole don't be a bitch?
I haven't released anything yet. I haven't really said anything yet. I probably won't do weekly or bi-weekly. I'm thinking maybe monthly. As far as don't be a bitch, like the mental challenges, maybe monthly. But I'm adding onto it in a different way. I'll say that for now.
Okay. I don't want you to spill the beans yet, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's for me starting this like podcast, like instead of don't be a bitch, mine was like, screw it, just do it. So, and
I like that.
So I got that from a book from Richard Branson. He wrote it, and he was like, his motto was like, just do it. Screw it, just do it. So like, that's how he met like Phil Collins, just saying, screw it, just do it. Like him, like doing other things. And so, I've said this story before, but I originally had like two other people to do this podcast with me, but it was like the scheduling wise was just impossible to find, two people and like three people all at once and to do a podcast. So I was like, you know what, screw it, just do it. I'm just going to do it by myself.
Yeah.
And, and here we go. And so, and I'm glad I did, even the t-shirts too. Cause like with the t-shirts, I was holding it off and I was like, all right, I have the design, I have the shirt, I have the guy that can do it, the print the shirts out, but it's just like, am I ready yet? And it's just like, you're never going to be ready. Like you could say you're ready like in a month, but you're not going to be ready that time either. So, just do it. And, I learned a lot because the guy that I did it with, he did it, he did a heat press on it. And it wasn't like every wash, like the whole logo would break off.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I need to get someone that can screen print. And so I was like looking around for that. And then like, it was like, there's a lot of speed bumps for owning a t-shirt company and even doing a podcast too. And it's just like, I've learned so much from, doing stuff like this. And I recommend you should, like, at least with blog posts, like at least try to do it like once a month, like once a week, at least.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
just staying consistent is huge. So
yeah. That's bad. Is like, that's also like the mind factor, like that I talk about in like some of the, I don't know, it's in the intro somewhere on my blog. Is just like the mental, like mind thing. I was about to say the F word.
no, you're okay. You could drop this F bomb. It's all good.
I literally said the mental mind fuck of just not following through with it. It's like, they're sitting there. It's like, why am I not just posting them? Like, they're there. It's not like they're done. It's not like I don't have anything I can't post.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm having like a writer's block. Like, I have things that I post. I'm just like, it's terrible. It's a terrible mind thing, but screw it, just do it. I gotta do it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was a huge help learning that whole thing. And, and my wife's a fashion blogger too. So she has like a huge following on social media and like, she's always posting stuff like every single day. Like, and it's just like, for me, like this past couple of weeks, cause like I got COVID and stuff like that. I can't work out. And if like, you literally look to my weight room, it's like, just like ladders and shit everywhere. So, and it's just like, it's hard to even do a workout when you're sick and you got to watch out for your family too. So it's just like, I want to post something, and then there's another thing. I don't want to post just like some random crap.
Right.
So, but speaking of posting, I did see a post that you don't like posting like your lifts on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't ever do. I don't know why. I don't really ever usually video them.
You just never like do it, like showing people like how you lift or anything like that. Or like it's just like, no, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I don't really know why. I got thinking about that. I'm like, I just pee on my snatch. I should post this. All of my posts are like just random pictures. Like, I never post videos. I'll post like stories of me working out, but I never like make an actual post. And it's like something just like lit a fire. It's like, I don't know why, but I feel like I need to post this lift. When I think it's like a weird thing too, where when you like just kind of plateau in CrossFit and you don't get PRs very often anymore. Yep. So it's like, I don't want to post my back squat that I'm 50 pounds under compared to like my real back squat that I used to be, I don't know. I don't know why I don't post videos. I need to post more actual workout videos probably.
So would if you don't mind me saying it, but I think you should post your gymnastics stuff, especially with like the grid movements and like, and like almost be like a tutorial for people to be like, hey, if you want to learn this is the way to, to gauge it and kind of, attack it that way. And I think that'd be a huge hit for you.
Yeah, I probably should post it. I actually do have a double touch and triple touch tutorial on YouTube.
Yeah.
Through the league. I probably should post them. I always like do the swipe ups when I get tagged in them and stuff. But I've never like made the actual post of it. Smart. I should.
I consider. I mean, especially like you got a pretty sweet like rig set up outside your backyard too. So I mean,
yeah,
I would consider it. So
might be something added on to Don't Be a Bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't have anybody that could like stare at you the whole time. Like it's like
right.
you get weirded out. I mean, so it's like you got this whole rig in the backyard, and you could just use it tutorials or, you know, I mean, you post pictures and stuff like that, but like, I mean, I would do that. That would probably kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're letting the secret out of the bag right now. It's like you're easing your way into the stuff I don't want to tell. The secret.
Yeah, well,
No.
yeah. I mean, when I do like a lot of, you know, I do a good amount of research on everybody. So it's like I kind of want to see like, you know, what they're doing and, you know, maybe help them out in some way. And, you know, I kind of like, you know, give people some advice here and there, you know, and just see if it sticks.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's awesome. You kind of hit the nail on the head right there.
Okay.
That's the whole, yeah, that's why we have like that whole, I got like that whole setup and I'm like building it up, trying to like make it look nice is for literally what you're saying.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could post it on TikTok too if you have a TikTok.
I do have a TikTok. You know, I don't use TikTok. I actually got a decent following for never using TikTok. I posted one stupid video and it went viral. And I somehow managed to get like over 20,000 followers for it. So like, yeah, like I'm literally, it's just like me walking. I don't know how it got so many views, but yeah. And then backflips in the middle of a grocery store. So like I started getting a lot of videos, like I started getting a lot of followers from that. Someone challenged me to do 100 backflips in a day. So I did 100 backflips in one day and it was mid-COVID. So obviously like there's lines. So like I just made this ridiculous video of me doing like a backflip, like waiting in line to get to a grocery store. And then I finally got in the grocery store and I did like a backflip in like all the different aisles and like I did like a backflip and grabbed like a bottle of wine and like those videos just got like viral. And went, all right, well, it's fun. Do backflips for follows.
Yeah, hey, whatever. And you could promote your Don't Be a Bitch blog on it too. So I mean, you get a, I don't know. I do you feel like obviously there's some good things with social media and bad things with social media. Do you feel like, you know, everyone's kind of it was from like Facebook, then transitioning over to Instagram, and now like everyone's kind of leaning over to TikTok, or like what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm late to the game in all things social media. Like I had Facebook when everyone had Facebook, and then I got Instagram like 3 years after people got Instagram. I didn't even know what it was. That's when people started using like Snapchat and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't even have it. Like, I didn't even, my sister made my Instagram. She's like, look, she's 7 years younger than me. She's like, listen, you need an Instagram. I'm like, I don't need an Instagram. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't need that. Whatever. So she made me an Instagram and now all I do is Instagram. And like, I don't ever get on TikTok. Like I have a TikTok and I'm not good at social media. I'm learning because obviously it's in a good way. Like it helps, you can like reach a lot of people and like inspire and help a lot of people, but I'm not techie like at all.
Yeah.
So anything like that I need help on it.
Yeah. Same here with like TikTok. I posted one video and it went like, I think I got like 600,000 views on it. And that was it. And like every other one I've had has like maybe a couple thousand, if that. And I'm like, how does this work? And like, even like my wife does her like just like clothing changes. Like she'll stand to the camera, jump, and she'll be in a new outfit. And I'm like, okay. And then like, how do you put like the wording in? Like, I'm just so inept when it comes to TikTok. It's just like, I don't know. It's like, you know, I'll try to have my wife ask me to help me do something. And it's like, I forget it. I won't even post anything. So.
Right. Yeah. Like I'm not as far as TikTok goes. Yeah. Like I was like, well, like my sister was trying to show me like all this stuff you do. I'm like, whoa, that's too much time.
Yeah.
I just need a 15-second video and I just need an upload. That's all I need. Like I don't need no 30-minute like figuring out how to transition from the jump to the, you know, not for me.
Yeah, I literally hear my wife like jumping from like the second, like on the second story, because I'm like, okay, she's just doing a clothing change, like, or just something like that. So it's like, I know she's doing something, and like it would take her like 10, 15 minutes or even longer to do it. And it's just like, is that really worth the time to do this? I mean, if you enjoy it, fine, but it's like, I don't really see a benefit to like doing a video that takes like 15, 20 minutes to
get done. I don't yeah. I mean, maybe if I need to veer in that direction at some point, I'll make myself learn it. But as of now, I'll just stick to I like the basics.
Yeah. I mean, with the Florida Grid League, if they I mean, do they have a TikTok?
They do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would be huge for them, especially with all the crazy movements you guys do and post it on social media for that. Like I see it on Instagram all the time, but like if someone posted on TikTok, gosh, I can't imagine like how many views they would get.
I'm not sure. I mean, they're over 300,000 on Instagram. I want to say they have more on TikTok.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, those videos do really well on TikTok.
Yeah, because everyone can't do it, and they're like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" And then like people like write comments and just like talk shit the whole time, and it's just like you guys have no clue what you're doing, like talking about. So just shut up, just watch.
Yeah. So yeah.
So very cool. So we're getting close to the end, so I have a couple questions for you. So obviously we talked about your blog a little bit. Do you have any plans of doing like a podcast or, you know, a YouTube channel for Don't Be a Bitch at all?
YouTube. You're getting into it again. No, YouTube.
Okay. When do you think the first video is coming out? I'm calling you out on this one.
Yeah, you are calling me out on this one, and that's part of the whole setup outside. Very soon. I'm gonna start filming soon. It's one of those things where I am gonna do it. I don't want to have things just sitting in Google Docs. Like I just don't want to have a bunch of videos just sitting there that I need to post, you know? So I'm just gonna try to do them like back to back to back. I don't have an exact timeline, but it's soon. It's very soon.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it as that.
Yeah.
So, other than being, you know, an athlete, a blogger, I know you talked about traveling is one thing you like to do. Is there anything else that you like to do for fun?
Anything outdoors in the sunshine.
Okay.
Not in the
like paddle boarding, kayaking, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm from Idaho, so like I grew up like camping and four-wheeling and like hiking, being in the mountains, stuff like that. Anything outdoors in the sunshine, I'm there.
All right. Very cool. So, what has been one of your favorite places that you've traveled to?
Thailand.
Ooh.
Thailand is my favorite place that I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot. I've been to a lot of places.
So jealous. That's like one of the bucket. That in Australia, I would love to go.
Yeah. I went to Thailand by myself actually for an entire month. It was like a trip. It was crazy. It was the best learning experience I've ever, like up until this point in my life, that trip is like the biggest like influence of like who I am today.
Okay. Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
I obviously you have like an arm tattoo, like a whole like arm.
Yes.
So, which one's your favorite tattoo, and what are some of the meanings of some of them?
Actually, so I got this elephant in Thailand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's so funny. Well, one, I knew like Thailand just took a little piece of my heart, and I was like, I need to leave Thailand with something other than, you know, something that's going to break in my suitcase probably. But it was crazy. There was this elephant that I found him like 2 weeks into my trip, like on the side of the road. And then I went every day to feed him. Like I would like just get on my little scooter and like ride to this elephant. And it's the craziest thing because like you look them in the eyes and like you can tell like they are just like the most loving, like caring creatures. And so like it became like my favorite animal. And I was like, I am like in love with Thailand. I just fell in love with elephants. Like I'm getting an elephant tattoo.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely like, I have to bring my wife and I have to go there or like something over there, like Bali too. I heard that place is amazing. So yeah, I gotta go. So, let's just say, you know, you stopped your blog, you stopped doing CrossFit, you stopped being an owner. How do you want people to know you as?
Some sort of like, I want people to like know me as an inspiration of some sort, whether that be like through Don't Be a Bitch. I know like I've had like it's crazy because for the little amount that I've done with Don't Be a Bitch, I've had so many people reach out and be like, look, like you've helped me a lot, whether you know it or not. Like these little posts where that you were like, a hellion of a child basically, and then like you've grown into what you are now, like just like inspired them, like beyond like the physical thing, you know. It's cool that like people look up to me as like a fitness inspiration. That's cool, but there's like a million people out there that can do that. I want to be more than just fitness, you know, like, and that's what I was saying, like the mental thing of it, because I feel like I'm such a like a head case in myself, and not very many people talk about that. You know, people are like, oh, my fitness journey, like I used to be this and now I'm this, you know. It's like I am a head case. I'm still a head case. And like, I want to let people know that like I have like actual issues, like internal issues myself, like that. And I've like overcome things to get to where I am now. So just more of like an inspiration outside of fitness, something like on top of fitness that I can help people with.
Okay, very cool. So do you have a favorite book you like to read or like to give out as a gift?
Oh my gosh, I hate reading. No, actually, if I were to ever give a gift now as a book, it's called Who Moved My Cheese.
Okay, never heard of that one before.
Okay. This is so funny. I went to St. Thomas. I went to the Virgin Islands a few months ago, and our Airbnb host, such a cool dude. Like we got talking to this dude for a long time, and we got talking about books, and like I was like, I hate reading, and he goes, I'm telling you, you need to read this book. It's like written for a kindergartner. Like anybody can read this book. It takes an hour to read, not even if you're really good. But it's like it's such I would that's if I had that's my answer to that question. Who moved my cheese? I think everybody should read that.
Okay. All right. Do you know who wrote it?
I actually have it right here. I keep it on my desk or on my coffee table just so I can look at it and be reminded about various. Spencer Johnson.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's a quick read, I'll definitely read it. I'm
It's
down
good.
for that. I'm trying to get back into reading a lot more because obviously having two kids, it's a little difficult, and like obviously podcasting. So I try to get like since I've been like stuck at home with COVID, I've been kind of reading a book a little bit, and I'm actually reading the new Chip Gaines book, No Pain, No Gains.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not bad. It's about networking. So I was just like,
Yeah.
I like him. I think he's a pretty kooky guy. So I was like, you know, all right, let's read his book and try that out. So
Yeah. You like it?
yeah, it's pretty good so far. I mean,
Good.
yeah, I'm reading right now. I'm at the part where he's talking to his in-laws are like talking about him, and so
Okay.
he told a bit of story of like how he first introduced himself to Joanna's father, and he would have like cowboy boots, like you know, tube socks up to his knees, like jean shorts and like this raggedy old white shirt, and he asked her dad to see if he could date her, and he's just like looked at him and said no. It took a little while to like, you know, break into
No.
like, yeah, to actually like date her for the first time. So
Right.
yeah,
Oh man. Okay.
it's
Nice.
funny. It's all right. It's not bad. So
Yeah.
all right, next question. What's in your gym bag?
Too many pairs of knee sleeves. I don't know why I have 4 pairs of knee sleeves. A belt, thumb tape, punch gunk. I use punch gunk a lot now. It's like better than icy hot.
Oh, okay.
I put it on like before, like I have terrible knees, so like it helps let me like my knees warm up.
Yeah.
That's like it. Like a lot of thumb tape actually. I don't wear grips and I don't wear lifters, so like all that normal stuff. I jump rope. I got my jump rope.
Yeah.
Like usually I have like some sort of sweat rag in there.
Okay.
Or towel.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. All right. So what are your goals for the rest of the year? It could be personal, could be like, you know, Gridley, could be like, you know, your blog, or it could be anything pretty much.
Yeah. For the rest of the year, win grid championships. On a personal note, get my secret. My secret should be out by the end of the year.
Okay.
And it should be in full swing by the end of the year.
Okay.
That is my goal. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
Yeah.
very good. All right. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about your blog or the challenges or like Grid League, or, you know, obviously you've already had people asking you about starting a team and everything like that. So where can people reach out to you?
My Instagram is Bryleigh Hansen BRYLEIGHHANSEN. Or email me at it's Bryleigh at don'tbeabitch.blog.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I really do appreciate you taking the time just to talk to me and kind of, hear your experiences through CrossFit and actually the Grid League too.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you.